Welcome back to GP Simsports News, where we not only ask but we test the question, how big is your pig? And what better way to test it than on the track where your position matters? Side by side with roughly 13, 14 other people. You race for first, and it's not just a single race but a whole championship. And that's why we're here today. For the championship race. This is the last race of the GTC 60s Legend. That is 10 weeks of racing. It has been definitely a fun season. I'm looking forward to what we have next, which is most likely a GP Simsports News Fan mini-series. That'll be very fun. But this is our average series length, roughly 10 races. Some practice, some warm-up here. This is it looks like we're moving on to qualifying. This is going to be an interesting track. We're here at Motorsports Park. And the main thing is that this is a very balanced track for all these cars, because these cars have their ups and downs across the board. However, this track tends to even it out with plenty of short and long straightaways, slight turns, very, very tight turns, biggest one being over here. If my GoPro would move faster. Why there are giant ants there, I do not know. But this is going to be an interesting segment for these cars to see how they perform. As there are different models of cars, they are going to perform differently. So this is a good track to help even them out. So right now we're in qualifying. They're all out on their out lap. And the best thing about this track is I can sit here atop the van. I can see both straightaways. But as these drivers get going, again on their out lap, they have roughly 8 minutes once they really start locking in their times. Looks like Sauce is now in the Shelby, which is interesting. Kirby used to be in this car last race. Looks like he switched to Sauce. So Sauce had to learn an entirely new car. I'm curious to see how that's going to go. Dean is still in the same car though. My estimate for this series is we're going to have Sauce in first place, Pro Darwin in second place, probably like Rodan or Racebrick in third, and Dean in fourth. Maybe Air in fifth. There's definitely going to be some wiggle room in there, as some did not participate in some races, or some did very good in races, and some did very bad in races. I already forgot, again, that the keyboard actually does a weird tilting effect, which is interesting. There's lots of tire marks as you go down this turn, and going too wide or 3 wide is going to be very, very interesting to see. Like Gunner spun out there. Now doing that move, spinning out with 10 cars behind you can be pretty bad for the entire pack. Looks like Rodan is exhibiting some high ping there as he just kind of slid and is constantly lagging and jiggling around due to bad internet, which can make his hitbox much wider, making him more difficult to pass and also unpredictable. So we have 6.5 minutes left on the clock. We have Sauce in first for qualifying so far, Pro in second, Rodan in third, Kirby in fourth, Racebrick fifth, Game Boy sixth, Spangler seventh, Moto 8th, Drillin 9th, Aircool 10th, and Dean 11th. Here's Drillin here with Moto very close behind. A little bit of shifting up there as Game Boy moves up to third place. And I see new viewers, and I will remind you again, this is the championship race. This is the final race for the season. This is race number 10. This will decide who wins and who loses. And I am expecting to keep the stream going even after the race is over until we get the final results in, and we can confirm the placing in the overall championship. Five minutes to go. We have Sauce first, Pro in second, Game Boy third, Rodan fourth, Kirby fifth, Dean moving up to sixth, Aircooled seventh, Villain eighth, Racebrick ninth, Spangler 10th, Moto 11th. Four and a half minutes till race time. Nice little quality pass, it's always fun to see, as long as no one crashes and ruins our lap. Whoa. Well, jinxed it. I don't know how Gunnar ended up backwards, but he did. This is a very tricky track because there's lots of braking during downhill periods, lots of turning through lots and lots of elevation change. For instance, right there, that is a crazy amount of elevation change. And as we pass along to this section, you'll see that there is a downhill braking tight turn. So it's interesting to see. I'm certain we're going to see lots of different braking points and some confusion, maybe even the crashing going into these tight corners, because some people are going to overshoot the corner, some people are going to undershoot, some people are going to be right on. There's going to be some spinning out and crashing most likely. This little chicane style turn there is going to be also very interesting, especially with a downhill into a tight turn again. Rodan moving back up to third place, leading Game Boy in fourth. This paint scheme always reminded me of like a World War II fighter. Just a brushed steel look looks very good. Although on a Shelby, I'm not sure. I would, if I got my hands on a Shelby today, the first thing I would do would definitely not paint it like this, or I guess not paint it like this. Definitely would not be my go-to. I'd probably paint it a nice blue. We have 2 minutes to go in qualifying before we move on to racing. A very nice entry into the racetrack, very gradual. Only thing I can imagine having problems with is that you are going into where cars are going to be slowing down inconsistently and will be turning at different rates and getting out of pits if you need to go in them. It's going to be difficult. Luckily, our races are only like 10 minutes, so having to actually get in and out of pits in the race is very unlikely. Less than a minute left. This is Foss, of course, reached his own record for the fastest lap again. This lap is really going to, it's going to dictate where these guys start. 35 seconds left. Oh, a little bit of ping lag there. Again, answering the question, how big is your ping? Looks like moderately sized today. Going clean off the track. Got into a bad line. Looks like Drillin is staying right where he is. And now we are into overtime. This is just to let people who are on their laps finish them. Game Boy moving back over to third. Alright, and that ends qualifying for this evening. Now, when you're over a minute here, we are going to move on to race number 1. As you can see at the top here, we do have 2 races. I'm going to say that each time. 2 races per night. Alright, now we move on to the grid. This is the grid for race number 1. Off grid, this is an interesting lineup. Looks like it got messed up a little bit. I believe Sauce was in first, but you'll go from Pro. Pro starting first, Sauce starting second, Rodan starting third, Game Boy starting fourth, Drillin starting 5th, Mike starting 6th, Air Cooled 7th, Race Break 8th, Moto 9th, Dean 10th, Gunner 11th, Tom Spangler 12th. "40 seconds until race number 1 begins." And they are off. Oh, Racebreak going immediately just driving into the wall. That's an interesting start. Oh, Air-Cooled pushing, or Air-Cooled getting pushed off the track. Looks like Moto's also off the track. Air-Cooled got back on. So pushing from Pro as Sauce is on the outside. Rodan is very close behind Pro. Lots of lag glitch you can see. Or ping glitch. A solid line here, very close together. An orderly pack, not too much crashing. This is where the balanced track comes into play, although that's what I was said is going to happen, is a few cars are just going to oversend it onto the track. Luckily, no one's been out in front of somebody else. So far, a fairly solid line going here. A few cars offline. Oh, looks like Game Boy tapped the back of Rodan, but no big deal. There's only one guy who probably spin out on the very first corner who's that far behind. This chicane is going to be interesting. You can see these cars sliding a little bit. You can see in the bottom right on the map that there's a little bit of space in between dots. Oh, Rodan going off track along with Game Boy and the next car. They're sliding a little bit. That means their tires are probably a little bit more dirty now. It's going to have some trouble sticking, which means they're going to have to slow down probably a little bit. And that looks like it's happening, separating Sauce and Pro from the rest of the pack. You can see them swerving back and forth, trying to clean their tires briefly. Oop, a little bit of wiggle there from Air-Cooled. These cars are finally starting to separate. Game Boy right on the tail of Rodan. Looks like they are actually starting to catch up to Sauce and Pro. Dean very close behind Air-Cooled. Looks like he's going to try to make a pass here in a few moments. Try to keep eyes on him. Lots of sliding from Air-Cooled. Oop, drilling going off into the grass there slows him down enough where Air-Cooled and Dean are able to start to catch up to him. He is definitely getting separated from Game Boy and Rodan up front. Whoa. Dean absolutely cutting off that corner, slamming on the brakes, going back onto the next corner. Slowed him down a lot, but he was able to not spin out, impressively enough. Oh, drilling going off the grass there a little bit. Up front looks pretty good. Sauce still has the fastest lap. The elevation change makes this a very interesting race. Dean is starting to catch up to Air-Cooled again. We got 10 minutes left to go on the clock. Some ping there from air cooled. Some internet lag. Looks like we have a pretty stable race going here. Not too much fight for position. Dean sending into the corner a little bit more. Looks like Racebrick and Kirby are still close by, which is good to see how close these guys are, because sometimes these guys are separated by like tens of seconds. Looks like Kirby's gonna try to pass Racebrick any moment here. Lots of tire smoke from Dean. Dean just sliding around the track. Air-cooled kind of glitching off track there a little bit. Some heavy braking from air-cooled, sending it off into the corner, really slowing down quite a bit. This separates Drillin pretty good from the rest of the group, where he's pretty far behind Game Boy and Rodan, but still pretty far ahead of Air-Cooled and Dean. Air-Cooled just absolutely sending that corner, Dean cutting off the apex. Air-Cooled was able to spin back where the direction he's supposed to be heading and get back on, but he definitely slowed down quite a bit there. I'm not sure what's happening to Drillin, but it looks like he's having some internet lag, bouncing all over the track. Whoa, what is that? What is happening? This is bad for Drillin. Whoa. Now that's ping. This actually might be my personal Wi-Fi, considering I've seen this from multiple people. They are bouncing everywhere. This is kind of a sight to see. Alright, that looks a little bit better. Hopefully, nope. Well, this is entertaining. Not the greatest Wi-Fi ever. Alright, looks like we are back for now. Plenty of sliding from Game Boy there. Dang. Looks like these guys are drifting on these corners. Their tires must be pretty warm. Rodan and Game Boy lapping Moto. Dean was able to pass air-cooled. Sorry we did not catch that on camera. We can go back and see maybe what was going on. We have 5 minutes to go. Oh, okay. Mike Kirby is very close behind. It looks like he passed Race Brick. Will he be able to pass Air Cooled? Just a question. Oh, Air Cooled is really sliding that Bizzarini. Mike is like right on his tail, just trying to figure out a way where he can get around without getting spun out by Air Cooled spinning out. Oh, Air Cooled cutting him over there. Mike sliding, able to recover it, but he lost position there and lost quite a few seconds. He might still be able to get back under Race Brick, but it's going to take him some more time. He's probably going to be stuck in 9th and 8th till the end of the race. Whoa, Dean just sliding off the track. Late braking. Air Cooled also late broke, but he not quite as much and almost passed Dean, but Dean was able to get back on and speed up before Air Cooled was able to get under him. A little bit of a bumper tap though. Very tight here, going almost too wide. Dean going off the track a little bit. Race Break, Air Cooled and Kirby are very close to one another. Dean's wiggling around. Oh, it's my Wi-Fi again. The ultimate nemesis for this channel is my Wi-Fi. Nobody knows what's happening. Back for now. This group here is very interesting to watch, as they all are trying to beat each other, just drifting and sliding around, which is, I find that hilarious. Somehow Drillin's in first now, and just got passed by Sauce. This is... Okay, the leaderboard's having a party. We're having some issues. We are admittedly having some issues. But these four are like tandem drifting around this map somehow. This is... They're somehow at the same time smooth, but also always on the verge of crashing into each other and making a mistake. Air Cooled is about to pass Dean. If Dean can get under Air Cooled, they won't have a big problem, but Air Cooled really kept it tight in the apex, kind of slowing Dean down enough where he was not going to pass Air. Mike and Race Break are, well, not really neck and neck anymore. Oh. Yep, there we go. Dean bumper tapped Air Cooled. Trying to pass him. Spun them both out and put them behind Race Pick and Kirby. They have some work to do now. I guess Dean finally got Air Cooled back for when Air Cooled bumped him in the rear when he was on the final lap in podium position. Lots of sliding there from Air. I'm not sure what he was doing. Probably just all that dirt on his tires. His tires are probably pretty warm, pretty dirty, and loss of traction there. Here's Mike Kirby. Got to pass Race Brick. Whoa, Race Brick bumped him, sending him way off the track. That would be an end of the race day for him if this were real life. This Alfa Romeo can handle these corners pretty well and accelerates pretty well too. Definitely a lighter feeling car, one that you can throw around a little bit more. A lot more than Air's Bizzarini. If you throw Air's Bizzarini around, it's probably going to slide and either drift or crash into somebody. So looks like Mike Kirby was able to pass. He is now in 6th position. Despite the leaderboard, it's one off for some reason. And this is the final lap. So we are going to go back. They are already at the finish line. They have already passed. That is a fault on my part. Looks like we have Sauce first, Pro second. Bad internet. Not sure what's happening anymore. Drillin fifth. Or I guess not fifth. Fourth. Ah, there we go. Finally, Racebrook is being pushed down. We have Sauce first, Pro second, Rodan third, Game Boy fourth, Drillin fifth, Gunner, nope, Kirby sixth, Gunner seventh. Yep, there's air-cooled, seventh. Dean eighth, Racebrook in ninth. Oh, this is only now the final lap, unless... Yeah, no, okay, no. There was a final lap, and then there's still some guys on their final lap. That makes sense. Looks like we are going to have Gunner in 10th. No, that's Moto. Moto moving up to 11th. So, race 1, we have Sauce first, Pro second, Rodan third, Game Boy fourth, Drillin fifth, Kirby sixth, Air 7th, Dean 8th, Racebrook 9th, Gunner 10th, Moto 11th, Racebrook 12th, and Spangler 13th. A strange, eventful, interesting race. Definitely interesting. That's a good way to put it. We have just under a minute here until we move on to race number 2. Alright, a little bit under a minute until we are underway. We have Moto starting first. Or I guess Gunner starting first. Moto starting second. Racebrook third. Tom Spangler fourth. Air-cooled fifth. Dean sixth. Mike Kirby seventh. Drillin eighth. Game Boy ninth. Rodan 10th. Pro Darwin starting 11th. And Sauce in 12th. A completely inverted board. Looks like everybody finished. No one got a DNF, so this is going to be very interesting because the slow guys are not in the back. No one got a DNF, so it's going to be interesting because the fast guys are in the very back. And they are off. Going 5 wide. 3 wide into corner, 2 wide into corner. 2 guys going off. Oh, lag. Okay. Well, that's on me, guys. That's on me. Well, that was an eventful first lap. Looks like Spangler and Rodan just went that turn. Sauce in 9th place. Oh, Dean second with Game Boy very close behind. Oh, dang it. Okay, this internet, man, it is not good. We're just gonna say that. We're gonna go with that one. Internet here in South Carolina is always an issue. Just bad luck that it happens to be on our championship night. Some pretty close racing up here. Dean second, Game Boy third, Drone fifth or fourth, and Sauce fifth. Not sure why the leaderboard is kind of broken today. But I also don't know why the internet's acting up. So, how big is my ping is a real question. Looks like top right we have a 92. Not too good. Game Boy kind of pushing and bungee cording back. Sauce moving up to 5th place. Game Boy really wanting 2nd position, Dean not wanting to give it up at all. A nice 5-car line here with some close racing. Oh, looks like Drillin's falling back. Is Sauce going to be able to pass him? Drillin does have the inside. Mike Kirby going off track a little bit, hitting a cone. Looks like Drillin was able to keep his 4th place position for now. But Sauce is definitely putting up and getting closer. Oh, looks like Game Boy hit the rear of Dean, sending him off. Slowed Dean down a little bit, but he was able to recover from a full spin out. Sauce took advantage of this, passing Drillin now on Dean's tail, which is not good news for Dean. Dean really needs a podium, 2nd or hopefully 1st place position, to get his championship finishing up, because I believe he'll be finishing in 5th or 4th, but he just went straight off the track. Bad, terrible braking line, sending him into 5th, which is not podium. Behind Kirby, behind Drillin, behind Dawson, we have 10 minutes to go. That's 10 minutes for Dean to make it up and get back in the podium to move his championship positioning up to a podium. I believe he only has 1 position to move up in podium. One position to move up in championship ratings so that he can get a podium overall. A 2nd place or 1st place finish should do that for him. Sliding off track a little bit. Drillin doing fairly good here on 4th. Nope, 3rd. Sauce in 2nd. Racebrick 1st. it is surprising that Racebrick's so far ahead. Usually, Racebrick usually isn't in the middle. He's usually at the very back or the very front. Dean looks like he's having some issues. Once you drive off the track, it seems to be the only thing you can do, and that's what he's proving right now, all the way back in 7th place behind Pro. Which is funny because Pro has the fastest lap in the entire race, yet he is still in 7th position. Looks like Rodan's on the tail of Dean now. Dean really cutting that, getting some air there. Looks like all 4 tires off. We got our trackside view. Sauce heading fastest lap. And here Sauce really catching up to Racebrick here. Insane momentum conservation. That really stressed Racebrick out. He did not brake in time, and he was sent off the track. He is now behind Sauce. Sauce is first, but Racebrick does have the inside for the next corner. If he's able to keep it up next to Sauce, he's pulling back out, and he is behind Sauce for good now. Sherby doing very well for himself in 4th position currently. We have 7 minutes left on the clock. And Sauce heading fastest lap. We have, oh, I missed the mark. Sorry, I was zooming out there a little bit. 5 minutes to go. Game Boy just driving off the track. Pro almost following him, looks like. Whoa! Oh, that was close. Game Boy just pulled in behind Pro and almost hitting the back of him, which really would have spun him out and would have stuck for Pro. Because Pro moved up like to the back, from the back to fourth position. We have Sauce in first, Racebrick second, Drill in third, Pro fourth, Game Boy fifth, Rodan sixth, Dean seventh, Kirby eighth, Air Cooled ninth, and Spangler 10th, and Gunner 11th, Moto 12th. Oh, popped up there for a moment that Spangler was in pit. That would be bad. If you also notice, we don't have the second markers for some reason. The leaderboard seems to be broken. Nope, still broken. Alright. Oh, wait, I switched it on. There we go. Still looks broken. Guess I know Drillin is not 0.9 seconds behind Sauce. Well, Pro is really on the tail of Drillin. We have just under 3 minutes left. Looks like they are catching up to Racebrick. Looks like Racebrick's having some issues with tire heat and traction. Pro is now getting on the inside of Drillin. Oh, outside. He might have gone on the outside, but he is staying true to his line. Pulling on the right. He's trying to pass on the outside. Maybe he's going to pull out onto the inside. Nope. He's still passing on the outside. Wow. He does have inside for next corner, though. Looks like his plan worked, although he is braking earlier. He is able to pass. Nope. Some tapping, some rubbing. Rubbing is racing. He went back behind. Now he pulled back ahead. Although it looks like Drillin has the inside for the next corner, but he is too far behind, leaving Pro solidly ahead with 2 minutes to go. Drillin is not letting up. Very much on the tail of Pro. Whoa! Game Boy is right there. Also posing an issue for Drillin. Ooh, trying to cut on the inside there. That could have been bad. Could have been a spin out, a bump, a pit maneuver, whatever you want to call it. With, I think, 2 laps to go now, Game Boy is not going to give up on trying to pass Drillin. And Drillin's going to feel the pressure from Game Boy, which is going to really distract him from passing Pro. Dean is not going to get a podium. He has under a minute left, and he is in 7th place. He is not getting a podium. Game Boy seems to be able to pull more momentum and speed into these corners, but it also looks like Drillin's able to accelerate faster outside of them. Oh, Pro really pushed that corner. He's right on the tail of Racebrick. He is incredible. Oh, he accidentally tapped Racebrick, spinning both him and Racebrick out. This is the final lap. Drillin is now in 2nd place. I don't know what interval means, but apparently Sauce has it. As far as I'm concerned, Drillin is in 2nd place. Sauce is in 1st. And that's that. Sauce got 1st. Drillin 2nd. Rodan 3rd. Racebrick 4th. I can't even tell anymore. Pro got what, 5th? Oh, this camera is so laggy with all these cars crashing. This was an eventful night. Happened to be right championship night, so that's interesting. It looks like we just have Spengler and Moto across the line. Will Moto finish? Wait, was that air cooled? Moto is probably going to get a DNF as he is, according to this leaderboard, a lap behind everyone else. Well, that was a very interesting race. Pretty fun to view. Pretty entertaining with all that lag. Stick around if you want to figure out the championship. I'm going to just sit here and wait for the official results to come out to see who gets what position in the championship. And we'll talk a little bit about the championship probably. So yeah, we're just going to sit here for a few moments and wait for the notification to come up that the results are out. Alright, looks like race results are actually postponed for now. But I will be posting on my community page. Sorry for the wait. We will be back in a few weeks here with our next mini season or full season. Once again, this is GP Simsports News, broadcasting the GP Simsports Racing.